Okay, here's a basic lesson on bar chords. You're going to get to a point, maybe after a year or a year and a half or 2 years, or maybe only after a couple months, where you're going to have a chord like an F or a B, B minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, G sharp minor. They're bar chords. I got to the point when I was learning where there were all these songs I wanted to play, and there was at least one of those chords in there, and I just had to bite the bullet and learn how to do them. Now, they're trickier, so be prepared. It's going to take some practice. There are muscles in your hand you've never used before. They're going to take a while to strengthen, kind of like if you decided you were going to do weight training. You were going to bench press 200 pounds. You're not going to do that in a day or two or a week or two. It's going to take months and months and months of training to do that. Bar chords are a little like that. They take months to get good at, if not a half year or a year. But the wonderful thing is they will open up what you can do on the guitar. So keep in mind, all bar chords are built from a basic first position or open position chord, like an E or an A. In fact, we're just going to look at bar chords built from an E shape and an A shape. If you know those, you can pretty much do anything. Okay? So we'll start with E. An E chord, you strum all 6 strings, and your root note, the note that is the same letter as the name of the chord, is the 6th string. So when I do an E chord, this is the open E string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this shape with fingers 3, 4, and 2 so I can free up my first finger. Now right now it's still an E chord. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide these fingers up 1 fret. If I only played strings 5, 4, and 3, it would be an F chord. However, I want to get the other strings involved too. And if I don't, if they're still open, it's not going to be a plain F chord. It's going to be some weird, funky chord, which is pretty cool sounding, actually. But we want just a plain F. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this E shape with fingers 3, 4, and 2. I'm going to slide it up 1 fret, and my first finger is going to come across and it's going to lay across all 6 strings. I tell students your first finger, when you bar, your first finger is your built-in capo. Okay, capos are those clamps that go on the guitar neck that help us change to a new key. And that would be a great topic down the road. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our built-in capo and we're going to lay it across the first fret. Now, to press down on all 6 strings takes a lot of work, and I'm really squeezing between my thumb and first finger. Good players that have been doing this for a long time make it look easy, but they're actually squeezing pretty hard. We can be efficient though, and think about the fact that we don't have to press down on strings 5 and 4 and 3 because these guys are already pressing down on those strings. If I am squeezing really hard with my first finger on those strings, I'm doing a lot of extra work for nothing. So don't. Okay, this will make your life a lot easier. This is one of the best helpful hints I can give you. I'm going to take this part of my first finger where I'm pressing down on strings 1 and 2. I'm going to put pressure there, and then I'm just going to take and I'm going to bend the tip of my, I can't really do it right here, the tip of my first finger to catch the 6th string. And I'm not going to put pressure on 5 and 4 and 3. Much more efficient. You want to practice these until you can get every note to come out nice and clean. There's going to be some troublemakers for a while. Go back to those 3 left-hand rules. Get everybody right behind the frets, but not on top. Don't lean over. That's typically what people are doing. They're leaning over and bumping into a string. And then press hard enough. So this is an F chord. Now eventually, you want to memorize the notes on the 6th string. This is an E. Now I realize everybody's going to come to this camp with a different background of knowledge in music, but I'm going to assume some basic things that you know your basic music alphabet. This is an E, and then it goes right from E to F in music. There's no E sharp, and then after that, 2nd fret is F sharp, 3rd fret is G, G sharp is 4th, A is 5, A sharp is 6, B is 7. We don't have a B sharp, we go right to C. That's at 8. C sharp is 9, D is 10, D sharp is 11, and then you're back to E at 12. You're not going to do bar chords beyond there. So you need to know those notes, because that's how you're going to figure out where do you put your bar to get the chord you want. If I want to do an F sharp bar chord, I can take this E shape, I can turn it into a bar chord. At the first fret, this note is an F, so this is an F bar. I'm going to slide that up 1 fret, so this note is F sharp. This will turn into an F sharp major bar. If I want it to be A flat, here's A flat. Every sharp can also be called a flat, so this is both G sharp and A flat. So at the 4th fret, that's an A flat chord. I can't get that in first position. Here's a B flat at the 6th fret. So again, there's lots of great resources online where you can find charts and have people talk you through it. But you want to know how to make this shape and move it around. Now, if you need a minor instead of major, here's what you do. You just take your second finger off. Just like E and E minor, the only difference was we dropped the note on the 3rd string 1 fret. We can do the same thing with a bar. We're just recreating an E minor shape. So if I want it to be F minor, I just make an F major, take my second finger off, and I get an F minor. Now I gotta squeeze harder on the 3rd string. That's the downside. So a little more work. We use F sharp minor a lot in some of the more common guitar keys. So if we need F sharp minor, I would bar at the 2nd fret, make that minor shape. There I go. Sometimes we have G sharp minor too. So I'd find a G sharp on the 4th fret, plop down that minor shape, and away I go. Kind of think of these bar chords like they're a stencil, okay? When you do a stencil, doesn't matter what color paper you trace that stencil on, it's always going to come out the same. If you have a stencil of a dog, it's always going to be a dog, okay? This is a major shape, and I can move it anywhere up and down the neck. It will always be a major chord. It'll be a different pitch when I move it to different frets, but it'll always be a major chord. Here's a minor chord. It will always be a minor chord, no matter where I move it. Okay, that's the beauty of it. Basically, you're getting 10, 12 new chords for the price of one. With one shape, now I have F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and I have a cutaway so I can get up here. If you don't have a cutaway, you might be out of luck. You really don't need a bar up here, though. Here's the other shapes you should know. The A shape, okay? So if I take an A chord, and I'm using fingers 2, 3, and 4, and if I slide that 1 fret higher, and I bar strings 5 through 1, I will get a B flat chord because this note here on the 5th string is B flat. So I'm doing an A shape at the 1st fret, and it becomes a B flat. This one is a little tricky. Now again, I'm only pressing on 5 and 1 with my first finger. Fingers 2, 3, and 4, I'm taking care of with these other fingers. So be efficient, okay? Don't waste energy. Don't try and push down on all 5 strings. We don't want to play the 6th string either, so I usually bump into the 6th string with the tip of my first finger. So that's a B flat. That's a B. It's another way to play a C. C sharp, D. Once you start getting past the 3rd or 4th fret though, it gets a little tight to fit all 3 of these fingers in, so what I typically do is I do a double bar. And my 3rd finger, I kind of flatten it out, I kind of cave it in, and so I do this. It's kind of hard. Some people can't do it. Some people, their fingers are too big or too small for this to work well. Now for me, my 2nd finger just automatically flops over this finger. Some people, that finger flops over their 1st finger or just stays in the middle. This is not something you need to do. This is just what works for me. However, I do feel it helps me because it's kind of helping push down on that 3rd finger. But that may not work for you. So I'm going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. if you can bend this little joint backwards so you don't hit the first string, we don't want that. Do that. If you just can't bend that back, then bump into the first string and mute it. So we won't even bother with the first string. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2. A lot of people with bigger hands is what they need to do. Or I have also seen this, where you put your pinky on the second string and your third finger flattens across strings 4 and 3. That doesn't work well for me, but it might for you. So you need to experiment. And not everybody's going to finger every chord exactly the same. Okay? The minor version of the A is easier. So here's A major in first position. Here's A minor. I just dropped the note on the second string, 1 fret. So when I bar it, I'm going to bar at the first fret. I'm going to make an A minor shape. And it's just easier to finger than that or that. I don't have to work quite as hard to press down too. So this is a B flat minor. Second fret, this is B minor. You're going to use B minor all the time. And I know a lot of people do the smaller B minor. That's okay. But there's a lot of times where you want to get that low root note in there. C minor, C sharp minor, that's one we do use a lot. And so on and so forth up the neck. So the notes on the 5th string, open is A, first fret is B flat or A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D flat, D, D sharp, also known as E flat, E, F, no sharp or flat in between there, it goes right from E to F, F sharp or G flat at the 9th fret, G at the 10th, G sharp or A flat at the 11th, and then here's A at the 12th. Okay, so with the E shape and the A shape turned into bar chords, you can cover just about any bar chords you need to play. Okay, it's just a lot of memorization. Where do you put your hand to get the right chord? Eventually, commit these notes on the 6th string and the 5th string to memory. It will save you a lot of time. And at that, I wish you good luck with these bar chords. Be patient. They do take time, but they will open up a world of great guitar playing and wonderful songs that you just need to be able to play bar chords for. Okay? Good luck.